Scratch is a very good tool for beginners to learn how to program. Instead of learning a language's syntax and dealing with confusing errors, Scratch allows coders to create simple games and projects with relative ease. Scratch uses blocks instead of lines of code, which makes it easy for beginners to learn and understand. Apart from simple games, some experienced coders are able to make very complex games. Even though it is very simple, Scratch is a very powerful tool, being able to perform 100,000 move commands per second, as I'll explain in a future video. This may sound impressive, but it is still nothing compared to modern platforms that have to render millions of polygons every second. Scratch is still very powerful for what it is meant to be used for, making simple games. Since Scratch was intended for simple games, it makes it very limited when it comes to more complex projects. For example, Scratch is completely two-dimensional, which means that programmers have to build their own 3D engines from the ground up. Scratch is how I first learned programming, when I made my account in 4th grade. I didn't make anything too impressive, but I still got the basics of programming so I could build off of them later. If somebody were to ask me what programming language they should learn as a beginner, I would tell them, no, use Scratch. You should understand the fundamentals of all programming and get an engineering mindset before you try to learn any language. Scratch makes it easy for beginners to learn how to break a problem into smaller parts and attack each problem individually. Most of the projects I've ever uploaded are absolute garbage because I've never been able to finish any of the good projects I've started. I either run into a bug I can't fix and abandon the project entirely, or I accidentally remove one block and the entire project breaks. What block could I have possibly removed that would make this happen? Like, what is even going on? What could have possibly happened here? Moving on, I want to actually complete a project for once, and I want it to fully show my coding skill. So I asked my friend Cohen for ideas for an incredibly difficult Scratch project I could do, and he came up with the idea of Super Mario 64. So I set myself the goal to create the Bob-omb Battlefield level in Scratch. The first thing I did was look to see if anybody had already made Mario 64 in Scratch. After one quick search, I couldn't find anyone who had made Mario 64. I found this studio, which is not what I'm looking for, and I found a couple of projects that claim to be Mario 64, but they aren't actually 3D. But apart from that, nobody has actually made Mario 64 in Scratch, meaning I would be the first person to do this. So here's my game plan for the project. Mario 64 is obviously a 3D game, so I'll have to create some sort of 3D renderer in Scratch. I've made a 3D renderer in Python before, but it had some issues and I'll need to learn how to fix those. Most 3D games that have a map are made of polygons, which is also true for Mario 64. So I'll need my 3D engine to draw triangles in 3D space. After making a 3D triangle renderer, I'll need to add Mario and give him physics and movement. I'll have to do research on the internal workings of the game so that I understand what needs to be done there. I've never actually played Mario 64, so I'll be starting with completely zero knowledge of how the game works. Once I finish my engine, I'll need to add some final features such as enemies, stars, and the boss at the top of the level. And Bob-omb Battlefield will be complete. If I finish all of that and I still want to work on the project, I may add more levels as well as the castle, but we'll see once I get there. With all that being said, I have been Brandon, and thank you for watching. I'll see you later.